I've recently noticed an interesting theme. The majority of Husker fans only hype up the same 5 or 6 players on our roster. Whether it's guys like Dylan Raiola, Jacory, Barney, Emmett Johnson, or even transfers like Dane, the fan base definitely has its favorites. And for good reason. Those guys are super young with flashy personalities and high potentials. But I've also noticed that the veterans on Nebraska's roster, who also have high potentials, who also are very talented, have completely went untouched. Nobody talks about them. So in today's video, we're going to change that. I'm going to go over the 5 Nebraska veterans who I expect to completely blow up in 2025 to shock everybody, to become some of the best players, not only on our roster, but in America. So buy stock right now because you're going to be hearing these 5's name a lot this season. So really quick, this is a jam-packed video. Hit that like button if you're fired up. Make sure to watch the entire thing because it is nuts. Also, we're getting so close to 12,000 subscribers. Listen, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan, it's a no-brainer. It would make my day. It takes 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button. Help us at 12,000. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's just get into it. Going over the 5 Nebraska veterans who I expect to completely blow up and shock everybody this year. And I want to get things started with somebody who used to be hyped up. Everybody used to talk about this guy, and lately, pretty much nobody discusses him. He's going to be a starter this year. He's on the defensive line 3 technique. This is Cameron Lenhardt going into his 3rd year with the Big Red. Now, we know that he was a former 4-star recruit. Going into 2023 as a true freshman, he played the majority of ball games. He earned a black shirt honor, which is completely unheard of for a true freshman. And for that reason, he was very hyped up going into last year. Everybody expected him to take that big jump forward to be one of the better edge rushers in the Big Ten. And unfortunately, Cameron Lenhardt just didn't live up to expectations. He only had 16 total tackles, half a sack, and really did not outperform what he did as a true freshman. He barely started, and when he was on the field, he was on the milk carton. He just didn't make an impact. So Cameron Lenhardt, despite him having high potential, didn't live up to what people thought he was going to do last year. Now, I want to inform you by saying this. Just because he didn't live up to the hype last year doesn't mean he's not going to live up to the hype this year. This is somebody who's still very talented. He's a leader on this team. He's one of the better run stoppers on this defensive line. And he's been breaking out so far, not only in spring ball, but also in summer workouts. Also expected to be that way in fall ball. He's been working on his pass rush, which is really the only thing he needs to work on. If he can have a consistent swim move, a consistent bull rush, I could very well see this guy get up to 5, 6, 7 sacks. So Cameron Lenhardt, I just want to say this again, just because he didn't live up to the hype in his true sophomore year doesn't mean that's going to be the case again. He's very talented. He's a leader. He's somebody who we know he's a great run stopper. But with more opportunities, more reps, with Ty Robinson honestly getting out of the way, I see no reason why Cameron Lenhardt's not going to break out. I see no reason. And what we've heard so far in spring ball is very, very optimistic. So Cameron Lenhardt, somebody I just buy stock right now because again, he's 6'3". He's up to about 275 pounds, put on a lot of good weight this offseason. He's going to be phenomenal. The fan base needs to discuss him more. I know we talk about guys like Williams Nwaneri a lot. We discuss, Ryan Van Poppel a lot, a couple of these other guys. Cameron Lenhardt, we could be sitting here after week 3, week 4 and say, why weren't we talking about him more? He's obviously the best defensive lineman on this roster and it's not close. So let's talk about Cameron Lenhardt more because he is really, really, really good. So that's the first guy I want to talk about, veteran who I expect to blow up, have a very good campaign. Then let's talk Buda Wright because I always meme him on the channel. I always say that nobody ever talks about him. And it's true. I think Husker fans just forget that he's still on this roster because he's going into his 7th year with Nebraska. His first year was in 2019. I was in middle school back then. For context, I'm now going into my 2nd year of college. So he's going into his 7th year with Nebraska. 6'5", 230-pound linebacker, one of the more athletically gifted players we've seen for the Huskers in a very long time. Now, the thing about Buda Wright, he had a really good campaign 2 years ago with 51 total tackles, half a sack, 2 pass defended, a couple interceptions in there. The thing about Buda Wright is that his career has just been very unpredictable with his blood clots. He's been dealing with blood clots since he was a true freshman. He's been expected to get on the field since he was a true freshman, just hasn't really been that way. He's never really been healthy. With a full offseason of him being healthy, going through all of these workouts, going through all of these practices, I see no reason why Buda Wright's not going to break out this year. See no reason why he's not going to be a guy who potentially gets 60 or 70 tackles. Because we've just never seen him healthy for an entire year. So I know that Buda Wright, again, everybody forgets he's still on this team. At some point, he's going to really break out and have a really, really good year if he's healthy. And I think he's finally going to be healthy. Now, this linebacker room is pretty loaded with Finch and Shavers, with a guy like Marcus Watson-Trent, but Buda Wright's somebody who the staff believes in. He's a black shirt through and through. He's a leader on and off the field. I'm going to hype up this guy because I see no reason. We have never seen him fully healthy. We've never seen it happen. This is finally going to be the year he's fully healthy in his 7th campaign. I think this is going to be the year where we say, okay, he's going to get all Big Ten honors. This is a very good linebacker room. I love this linebacker room. I think he's one of the bigger reasons why. Going on to the third player now. Elijah Jeudy is somebody who I'm very bullish on. Very, very bullish on as our starting nose tackle this year, 6'3", going up to about 300 pounds. Now, Elijah Jeudy, when he announced he was returning for another year, a lot of people just kind of swept it under the rug. They're like, oh, that's great, Elijah Jeudy, but he really wasn't a contributor. He wasn't somebody who made an impact. Elijah Jeudy is somebody who, honestly, his impact doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He only had 13 total tackles last year, didn't have a sack, but you look at his Pro Football Focus grades, they were phenomenal. He was always making plays in the running game. He was always eating up these double teams. Elijah Jeudy is also another guy who, once again, is a leader, but has also really been making a lot of strides so far in spring ball and in summer workouts. So Elijah Jeudy, while maybe the stat sheet's not going to look very awesome once again this year for him, he's going to do his job. He's going to eat up double teams at a high level. He's going to replace NASH to the best of his abilities. I think if Elijah Jeudy lived up to potential, he could be just as good as NASH. NASH was a UDFA. NASH was not a very, untouchable player like some people talk about him like he was. He was okay, but he's very replaceable. Elijah Jeudy was a former 4-star recruit, just hasn't lived up to expectations. But if he can take that step, if he can live up to potential, I see no reason why Elijah Jeudy can't be NASH again. Maybe even better than NASH. Because once again, while NASH was good, don't want to disrespect him, he was an undrafted free agent. He was not an All-American. He wasn't an All-Big Ten selection. Elijah Jeudy is somebody who has that potential to, with more playing time, with more reps, I can see him very, very easily replace him. I think Elijah Jeudy will do just that. So I'm sipping the Kool-Aid because his Pro Football Focus grades are really good. His film was really good. And he's once again a leader on this defense. Let's go to the offense. Teddy Nebraska is somebody who I told you guys about a month ago on the channel. The coaching staff is a lot higher on Teddy Nebraska than the fan base is. I think a lot of people, they've kind of given up on Teddy, with all of his injuries. And I get it. I've kind of given up on Teddy as well because when you're that tall, when you're 6'10", when you're 300 pounds, you have a lot of lower body injuries because you can't control your weight as well. Your knees, your ankles, your center of gravity just gets really messed up. There's a reason why there's really not 6'10" tackles in the NFL anymore. But what I learned not too long ago was that the coaching staff expect him to be our starting right tackle this year. It's not going to be Gunnar Gatula. It's not going to be Turner Corcoran. It's going to be Teddy Nebraska. And I will say this about Teddy. When Teddy has got on the field, he's been one of the better players on our team. It's never really an issue about him on the field. Like, he never really struggles when he's healthy. It's just about when he is healthy because he's always hurt. So my thing about Teddy is that if he stays healthy, this is a massive if. If he's healthy for the majority of the year, I could very well see him get all Big Ten honors. I could very well see him be an NFL draft pick with this potential. But that's if he stays healthy. That's a big concern. But he's ready to go. He did not participate in spring ball, which is fine. But he's completely healthy going to summer workouts, going to fall ball. The staff thinks he's going to start. I agree with them. I think if he's healthy, he's going to start. It's all about him staying healthy. But if that happens, I think he could be the best offensive lineman on this team. I think he could be better than Rocco Spindler. I think he could be better than Justin Evans. I know he's going to be better than Elijah Pritchett. This is your starting right tackle when he's healthy. But can he stay healthy? That's my only big thing. But I think he's going to break out. I really do. Just got to stay on the field. And then last guy. You already know who this is. Come on. You already know who this is. This is somebody who I think is going to be the best player on Nebraska's roster. I've been saying this for months now. It's going to be Deshaun Singleton. Now, this is your starting strong safety listed at 6'3", 210 pounds. I will sing this from the rooftops. This is not only Nebraska's best player on defense, this could be the best player on our team, period. And I know some people are going to say, if Deshaun Singleton's the best player on our team, we are a really bad football team. You guys aren't giving Deshaun Singleton enough credit because this is somebody who played very, very well last year. Played very, very well in 2023 before he got injured. Has very high potential. He's only 22 years old. We talk about him like he can't improve anymore. He's somebody who's still very raw, and he's never had a full offseason development because he's always got banged up. So once again, injuries have derailed his career just like some of these other guys. But man, oh man, he's one of the hardest hitting safeties we had in Nebraska since the 90s. Although he has struggled in coverage in the past, he's very, very speedy with, once again, very good height, good weight on him. If he can just develop himself more in zone coverage and covering man coverage from time to time, this is going to be one of the best safeties in America. This is going to be a second-round draft pick because that's how great he is in the running department. That's how underrated he is. He had 71 total tackles last year. He had 3 passes defended. He had an interception in there. Again, that's not chump change. That isn't bad stats from a guy who was out all of last offseason. He did not play at all in the offseason of last year, and that's his stats. So imagine Deshaun Singleton, with all the hype going into this year, having a full offseason for the first time in his entire career with the same coaching staff and being healthy, With all of his athletic traits, why can't he not break out? He's only still 22. And that's how good he was last year. So I could very well see Deshaun Singleton be one of the better players on a roster, if not the best player on a roster. I could see him be a first-round draft pick. I'm going to hype up this guy for a long time. And if he doesn't live up to expectations, I'll be the first to tell you. I'll be the first to eat crow. But this is somebody who I really am feeling good about because I've heard some crazy things about him in spring ball, with him being the best player on this defense, making plays every single day in scrimmage, being once again a leader, a veteran, single-digit guy. He's been a single-digit guy for years now. Deshaun Singleton is going to be really good. And again, I need to preface by saying, once again, he's a single-digit player. He's been a single-digit player for 2 years now. So he's been a top 10 player on this roster for 2 consecutive seasons. Is it not hard to believe that he's going to be potentially a top 5 player? Buy stock. Because we know how ferocious he is in the running game. We know how ferocious he is, in the box, at strong safety, at linebacker, wherever you put him on the field. He just needs to develop himself once again in zone coverage. And I think he can do that because of how athletically gifted he is. The fact that he runs a legit 4.40. The fact that he's so big and so strong. This is somebody who would have thrived back in the 90s for Nebraska. Give Deshaun Singleton some more respect because he's going to have a really, really good year. All right, guys, so those are the 5 Nebraska veterans who I expect to break out this season. That's who I genuinely believe. If I didn't mention a player who's a veteran and you're maybe thinking of Haarberg, you're maybe thinking of, I don't even know. I didn't mention them because I don't think they're going to break out. These are the guys who I do think are going to break out. So let me know your thoughts down below. Hey, if you made this fun of the video, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go on, roll, and see you in the next one.